Good afternoon. Hello. How is everybody today? This is Carla Metzdorf. I am admin to the group Overcoming Anxiety for Stressed Out Moms Who've Had Enough. I am also a certified health and life coach who works with moms to overcome anxiety. As you come on, say hi. Let me know who's on with me today. I am coming on today to talk to you about words and why they matter, and how to pick your words wisely. And what I mean by that, basically, is we just let things come out of our mouth, right? Or we think things, right? And we let those words just come. And we're not always being very wise about how we're using those words. We just believe whatever comes to our minds. And we just let things blurt out of our mouths, where once we throw a word out there, we can't take it back. So who's listening to our words? Not just our loved ones, but you're listening to the words, right? So you have to be careful what you say, because they do matter. They matter so much that they were spoken about in the Bible thousands of years ago. We were warned about being careful about what we put into our minds, what we let come out of our mouths. So, Proverbs 21:3, those who guard their mouths and their tongues keep themselves from calamity. That's pretty powerful. That's telling you right there how important your words are. We need to be very careful. Proverbs 15 says, the soothing tongue is a tree of life, but a perverse tongue will crush the spirit. Hey, Donna, a perverse tongue is going to crush your spirit. Words matter. Ephesians 4, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. It's not just other people who are listening, it's you who's listening as well. What you say, I'm just trying to see that I am in the group here, finding myself in the group. What you say is super important. Who's listening to you? Are your children listening? Remember, they're going to mimic you, right? And you're listening. And your loved ones, your friends are listening to what you say. And once you throw something out, it's hard to get it back. Galatians 4, let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer each person. Matthew 15, it is not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out of the mouth. Matthew 18, what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this defiles a person. So you can tell what's going on in a person's heart, what's going on in a person's mind, simply by what's coming out of their mouths. Did you ever notice that? So what does this have to do with anxiety? I'm talking about words. And then you're here because you suffer from anxiety. Well, we know, okay, that part of having anxiety are the things that you're telling yourself, the thoughts that you're having, and what you think, what you continually tell yourself, your words, okay, they will shape your thoughts, and those shape how you feel, your emotion, what you experience. All of this, they have to align, and it's all very important. So, the thoughts that you have are so important that you can change them at any time, and they will determine whether you're having a good day or a bad day. They have that much power. And you have the ability to make that decision of what is going to come out of your mouth and what's going to stay in your mind. It's up for you to decide that. So, you can speak words that are empowering and positive, happy, peaceful, thoughtful, hopeful. Like, it's up to you. Hi, Tesla. It's up to you to decide what words you want to hold on to. Because what's also true is that you can hold on to words that make you feel negative and fearful, angry, unhappy, hopeless, anxious. And if you're still telling yourself, well, I'm not anxious because of my words and because of my thoughts, I'm anxious because of my husband and my kids and my boss. If you're still thinking that, you don't understand the anxiety cycle. You don't understand why you have anxiety. That's not why you have anxiety. So, affirmations, okay? When I had debilitating anxiety, what helped is really having that awareness of the mind-body connection. The mind-body connection is extremely powerful. You can overcome anything if you aligned it all together. A lot of the times, the reason why we suffer from mental illness, from physical illness, is because we're not aligned. But if you understand that mind-body connection and get your words and your thoughts and your emotions all aligned and all together, a lot of your problems go away. Now, you may not believe me, but I am testament of that. I am so testament of that. I have overcome so much in my life, not through medication, but because I understood the mind-body connection and aligned things in my mind so that I can have the right emotions, the right feelings, the right thoughts, and get to where I want to go, produce what I want to produce. So the words you choose shape your thoughts, that shape your attitude, and what you experience in life. It's very important. So when I got privy of all this, I would choose affirmations. You may have heard of affirmations. They're basically these little statements, short positive statements that you use to retrain your mind. They help you shift your thoughts. Okay? So, in other words, let's say you're somebody who says all the time, this is hard. This is too hard. This is hard. How do you expect to overcome anxiety if you keep telling yourself how hard it is? Yeah, it's not, everything you got to do is not easy, But telling yourself every day, this is hard, how is that motivating you? How is that giving you what you need to do what you got to do to make a change? And not only that, remember, the way you talk to yourself, okay, you have to remember there's a mind-body connection. You're telling yourself this is hard, and who's listening? Your brain. You're telling your brain this is hard. So it's sending a message to the vagus nerve. She's stressed out. This is hard. She knows that she's got to do this. But yet, it's too hard for her. So they work together to protect you. They send out those beautiful chemicals into your body that give you all those lovely symptoms. You stay stuck in the anxiety cycle. But if you understand that anxiety cycle, and you understand that mind-body connection, you can right away, awareness is key. Awareness is where you're going to say, hey, I'm not talking in a way that's going to get me where I want to go. Is that making sense, ladies? Put a 1 or say yes if this is making sense, if you understand when I'm explaining here. Because it's really important. So when I learned affirmations, I just started talking to myself. You know, if I said, this is hard, I would start saying, I can do all things through Christ. And that's a very powerful statement. Very powerful statement. Not, this is hard, but I can do all things through Christ. Because I'm reminding myself, I'm not alone. So, to get new thought patterns, okay? As I said, awareness. You have to first understand, I'm not choosing words that's going to get me to where I want to go, right? So, what do I have to tell myself instead? You have that choice. So practice, what words do I need to overcome anxiety? What do I need so that I can calm down the parasympathetic system and get that mind-body connection working so that I have peace and calm? Now, they're always working together. It's not that your mind and body are not working together. They are. They're always working for you. But they're not understanding you want peace, that you want to be calm, that you want health. Because it is your thinking, the words you're using, you keep telling it, this is how to respond. With fear, with worry, with anxiety. Maybe this is not what you want to hear, ladies, but it is actually the truth. And the moment you take responsibility and take those actions to be different, it can be from flipping a switch, it can happen that quickly, or, it could take time. Because you're going to keep fighting yourself. You're going to keep sabotaging yourself. But the words that you choose, they have to be words that are that something that you're going to tell yourself that makes sense, that you're going to believe, that, so if you're going to tell yourself an affirmation, don't make it this long, unbelievable affirmation. So if you're telling yourself this is hard, you're not going to say this is easy. Why? Because are you going to believe that? So if you're like, all right, I got to overcome anxiety, and then your mind goes, this is hard. And then you catch yourself in that moment. Like, you have this awareness of, I just told myself it's hard. You're not going to go, okay, no, it's easy. Because you really think you believe that and it's really going to make it easy. No, what's going to make it better is telling yourself something that you can eventually believe. And I believe that there's somebody walking beside me, helping me, giving me guidance every single day. That's why the words, I could do all things through Christ, who gives me strength, tells me, it's Philippians. I wish I can tell you which part. Philippians, oh gosh, is it 4? 4:8? 4? I don't know. I just know it. I don't remember. It's Philippians. But I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, right? So what that tells me is that no matter what I'm facing, and I've been facing some pretty hard things, ladies, I'm still not alone. I have everything I need to get through it. Is it hard? Well, yeah, it is, but I'm going to get through it. Somehow, some way, because I'm not alone, and I have a power inside of me that is more powerful than anything that I face. 413, Tesla, thank you. Knew it was 4. I said 8, but I was close. I was close. All right. So, is this making sense, ladies? You with me on this? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts about the things that I'm saying. And I just want to refresh. It didn't refresh. That's lovely. Okay. So that I can see every comment. Okay. All right. Awesome. So, for sure, if you were telling yourself, okay, I said this is hard, but let's do something else that I know a lot of you are telling yourselves, okay? Perhaps you're telling yourself, not that this is hard, but telling yourself, I don't know. God, I can't even think today. What is something that you ladies tell yourself about anxiety or about overcoming anxiety? Or how about simply, I can't overcome anxiety. Maybe it's not possible. You think it's not possible, or maybe you're telling yourself, I tried and I couldn't do it, therefore. Okay. So, is that helpful? No. Is that going to keep you from overcoming anxiety? You bet. So what can I tell myself instead? I'm never going to feel better. All right. I mean, there you go. Never going to feel better. And that's so true. Because we feel these sensations in our body, and we try to do things to help us feel good about how we feel. I can't keep calm when I talk to a person, to a certain person. Okay. Well, let's go with I'm never going to feel better. Okay. So, if you're telling yourself that, like, I'm just never going to overcome this, never going to feel better, because everything that you're trying is just not working. All right. If you keep telling yourself that, you're going to get what you're always going to get. I mean, you're not doing anything to make your situation different. You're telling your brain over and over, yeah, we're always going to be this way. We're always going to be this way. We're always going to be this way. So that's going to be your reality. Now, I understand you're trying things, and because you're trying things and they may not be working exactly the way you want them to work in your timing, or, actually last week in my live, I talked about things of why they're not working when you want them to work. So go back and watch last week's live. But, so what would be more helpful is what words can I tell myself when my mind is telling me over and over, I'm never going to feel better. Never. It's never going to happen. I'm never going to get over this. I'm always going to be this way. You got to catch yourself. Have that awareness, right? Have that awareness. Number 2, what can I tell myself instead to get the result? What result do I want? Well, the result I want is I want to feel better. So what can I tell myself to feel better? Well, I can say to myself, I'm working on this. I may not be where I am right now, but I am doing a little bit each and every single day. Now, no, this is not short, but you see how you're being your own cheerleader talking to yourself that way? So that kind of gets to my next thing, is having self-compassion. So in a statement like that, you want to be compassionate with yourself, all right? You want to be able to cheerlead yourself on. Because to be quite honest with you ladies, you don't want to spend the rest of your life listening to me or whoever else you're listening to out there to get through the day. You want to get over this. You want to be done. Like back in control of your thoughts, of your emotions. Enough is enough, right? So, having self-compassion, all right? In other words, loving yourself, giving yourself grace so that you do what you need to do to overcome this. And you start talking to yourself in a loving, compassionate way. You be your own cheerleader. Not that I have to cheerlead you or somebody else has to cheerlead you or your husband or a parent or a friend. I mean, that's great to have that kind of support. I mean, I still need support and I do want support, but I don't depend on it. And there is a difference. I don't have to go to somebody else to validate how I feel or to make myself feel better. So, really recognizing your words and understanding why am I thinking this? What's making me think this right now? Like what words can I think, or what words can I say? Because have you ever had a conversation with somebody and something just blurts out of your mouth, and the moment you say it, you go, "Ooh, I can't believe I just said that," and you want to take it back and you can't. Put a 2 in the chat or say yes if that makes sense to you, right? Because I know that's happened. I know you can relate to that. The moment a word comes out, you're like, what am I doing? And you may have to apologize. Yeah, absolutely, right? But this is why sometimes, I'll tell you a trick. If you're having a talk with somebody and you want to be careful, say it in your head first. Try to say it in your head first. Like, think about, that's the difference between a reaction and a response. And I've talked about that a lot. Say it in your head first. Like if you're having an argument with your husband or your boyfriend or, a friend, a sibling, a parent, and, when we're angry, we just diarrhea words, right? They just come out. And then later we're like, I'm so sorry I said that. I didn't really mean it. Then why'd you say it? Say it in your head first. When they say something, say it in your head and go, is this something I want to say? Is this something I want out there? Just a little trick. It will save you. But when it comes to talking to yourself, learn to love yourself. Learn to have compassion. Remember, your children are hearing you, watching you. They mimic you. Do you want your kids to hear the words you're saying? The way you're talking to yourself. If you heard your child, I don't care how old they are, talking to themselves using those words, would you be like, hey, don't say that? What are you saying that for? Don't talk to yourself that way. So if that's true, that you wouldn't let your child talk to themselves in such a way, what are you doing? Why are you talking to yourself with these words that are just keeping you stuck? So have that self-compassion so that you take the time to watch your words. Have that awareness that you're doing it, that you're not using words that are really helping you. Remember that your words matter. Thoughts are just thoughts, okay? But the words shape your thoughts. So if you're having crazy thoughts in your head, yeah, it's the fear, it's the anxiety, but it's all connected. And what are you telling yourself about that? How is that? What are you experiencing? Backtrack. Accept what you're feeling. Accept those thoughts. Because the moment you don't, guess what comes on? More thoughts. More negative feelings. It just spirals. Practice mindfulness, because mindfulness will help you have more awareness. Like, mindfulness is just getting yourself quiet in your head. What's popping up? What is it that I want to say? What's popping up in my mind? Why am I having those thoughts? And then you could take measures to change it. Remember, your thoughts are not necessarily true. They can be true. But when we're emotional, when we have anger, when we have sadness, when we have anxiety, we're talking with our emotional minds. And it's not how we really want to be. But when we're emotional, we just let our minds just, like I said before, everything, I used the word diarrhea, sorry, but it's true. It's just, things come out of our mouths, things pop in our minds, right? See, as moms, we're worriers, right? We worry about our family. We worry about the kids. We worry about the family. We worry about everything. But that's just what we're telling ourselves. It's the things that we're hearing and what we're believing. But we have to recognize that we are causing ourselves to be that way so that we can take the actions to not be that way. Talk to yourself like you would your kids, like you would your best friend, anybody else you love and respect. Pick words and thoughts that are going to get you more of what you want in your life. Your words will shape your thoughts. That will shape how how you feel, the emotions that will give you what you experience. Just once you have those words, and if you're having a negative experience, you can change it in any moment. Any moment. That's why knowing the mind-body connection is extremely important, because those words, you're not just, you're feeling it. I mean, like, you hear them and they make you feel terrible. But that's why your stomach is in knots, or you have irritable bowel, or you have GERD, or because of the things that you're telling yourself. The words that you use and the thoughts that you were holding. And you could flip that switch anytime. And I know I'm making it sound easy, but ladies, the moment you understand that mind-body connection, it does become easier. You can flip that switch anytime you want. So ladies, that is the live for today. I don't know if you have any questions. If you do, let me know. I'm Tiff. You say, I have affirmations on my walls. Think before you speak. Use your filter is a huge one for me. Mindfulness is amazing. Learned it in DBT. Well, I do DBT, CBT, so that's why I'm mentioning it. So, of course, they're both very useful, and you have to align everything up. This is not just about one tool or this tool, or, you need to align everything up. Mindfulness is amazing. It helps you to be more aware, and without awareness, you're not going to understand what you need to overcome. You're not going to understand what it is that you need to do. So, with that said, are there any questions? Anybody has anything to say about anything that I said? And if you came on late, of course, please rewatch this whole live. It's probably one of the shortest lives I've ever done, but it was effective. It said a lot of good things, and hopefully it brought you a lot of awareness. And so if you're watching the replay, just, put stuff in the comments. I will answer you later. Or you can message me anytime that you want to. Oh, you're welcome to. You too. Have a blessed rest of the week for you too. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I will see you next time. Be well. Take care. Bye. Take care.